4.
Really?
Boys, are you kidding me? Oh my
Yeah, 13, 10, 8, and 5. Like,
Giving him an opportunity to go receive his bride, but they parade him on the street just so the town can talk about him and say, I've seen that guy. He's been moving around with a lot of women.
Oh my God,
And
I
there's
could
still
never have
time.
that kind of wedding.
oh,
There's
wow.
still time to stop the
Really?
wedding.
Are you
Really?
serious?
I am serious
It's bad to
because
have a lot of
people
women?
don't. In India, this society, in
It's
Indian,
bad to have a lot of women?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
is it
Yeah,
bad to have a lot of women? Well,
Silence on the set, please.
okay.
I would have to put them, there go my head on the horse, so they wouldn't know.
Welcome back to Yogaxpress, your virtual stretch clinic that helps you move the body to still the mind. My name is Banu Suresh. I'm your host for this program. And today, after a very long time, we're actually going to defy a theory that yoga is just for girls. You're going to see right here on the mat, there's a 60-40 percentage. We have 3 very fit gentlemen right here on the mat and 2 of us girls. So that's already 3 to 2. This is just so you know that yoga is for everybody. If you can move, you can stretch. Yogaxpress airs Monday through Friday on Time Warner 57, RCN 84, and FiOS 35. We also air Monday through Friday in Staten Island at various channels. Go to our website, mnn.org, or go to my website, www.yogaexpress.com, YOGAXPRESS.com. That's Yoga Express without the E. We live in North America. We don't know how to spell. So be careful. Make sure you type in the correct address and go to my website homepage to get the schedule and to know which stations we air. From my extreme right, we have Rafael Sanz. Did I finally get your name right? Because
got
I've
my
been
name
calling
right.
you everything except the right way.
You got my
Rafael.
name right this time.
Thank you. Welcome back to the show, Rafael.
very much.
And like I said in the first couple of episodes when you came on our show, I actually introduced your tattoos before I introduced
you did.
you. So now you've done me a favor and you've decided to introduce them yourself. So, Rafael, a little more about you. I know you're into a lot of things.
I'm an actor. Actually, next week, my play, The Michaels Are Out of Control, starts.
Okay.
Next Saturday and Sunday. And I do a podcast. We just did our year-end wrap-up podcast. It's titled No Apologies. You could download it on iTunes, or you could go to the Taylor Network.
Fantastic. How do people reach you? They actually connect with you through these podcasts. Is there a website as well?
There's a website, the Taylor Network. All you gotta do is type in the Taylor Network.
And then
You'll see I'm part of the crew of No Apologies podcast. I do an article titled Romeo Must Die, where I talk about entertainment and comic books.
okay. And they could also Google you, right?
They could Google
Rafael
Rafael
Sanz.
Sanz.
RAFAELSANZ.
Yes.
Fantastic. If you want to know more about Rafael, Google him first. That makes it easier because he's into so many things. It's hard to
She's
find.
intrigued by the tattoos.
Did you want to tell Jill a little bit about your tattoos? Or I don't think.
I was looking at the dragon.
Yeah.
There's a dragon there. Very
Well,
colorful.
this one is probably my favorite. It's a dragon. It comes around my arm and onto my hand. I just had a dream about it, and if I went to my tattoo artist, this would be my most personal. I was married. My wife was pregnant. She's no longer with me, unfortunately, and neither is my son. So I went straight to my tattoo artist and had this one.
So you kept a memory. You said your son is not with you?
They both were in a car accident.
Oh, I'm
They
sorry
both
to
gone.
hear that. So this is in their memory.
This is in their memory, and then I have the one on my neck, which is just a bad drinking night that I really regret, but it's stuck there, so.
Yeah, you're basically stuck with all your tattoos. Remember we talked about
Well, this one is the one that I'm
Jennings,
really
Paul
stuck
Jennings' story about the tattoos that came alive.
with. The tattooed man, yeah.
Yeah, the tattoo man. Yeah, I love Paul Jennings' stories, especially
great
that
book.
story. Welcome back to the show, Rafael. I'm going to save Jill for the last. Ron Thomas to my extreme left. Ron, you're a producer here at Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You have a show called Big Talk.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your show.
Well, last week we talked about the Constitution is suspended, so you don't really have your constitutional rights, but nobody really knows about it because they don't really.
Talk about it.
Yeah,
We don't discuss it enough.
vigorously enforcing it.
Okay. And do you get a lot of call-ins? Do people call in
Yeah, we
to
can talk
participate?
about that.
It's a call-in show, right? And you compete with our airtime.
Yeah, actually.
He does. He does. It's
Really?
what time is it?
What
1
1
to
to
2?
2. I'm an hour. This is a half-hour show. So.
Right. Okay. So Ron's program Big Talk airs 1 to 2 p.m.
So you can
So
take
1
Big
to
Talk
1:30. Yeah, 1 to
DVR.
1:30. Stay with
You could
Ron.
DVR Big Two.
Yeah, DVR. Yeah.
You could do that, or you could have it both. Have your cake and eat it too. 1 to
Yeah.
1:30. Stay with Ron. 1:30 to 2. Come stretch with us. Whatever you do, don't desert us or Ron. Just stay with both of us. You could DVR. That's a great idea. Yeah. We have all those conveniences.
Modern technology.
Modern technology, that's right. Welcome back to the show, Ron. It's always inspiring to see you here because I can see the difference
Yeah.
in not just the way you're stretching, also in the way you enjoy it a lot more. And that's what happens. As the stretches feel a little more comfortable, you start to enjoy
Yeah, I
it.
gave up basketball, so now
You gave up basketball to take up yoga. Go,
I still
Ron.
kept my clothes.
Must be getting
though.
old.
Welcome back. To Ron's right and my immediate left, we have Jeff D'Amico.
Very good.
Correct?
Very
Okay,
good.
Jeff.
Not so many people get it right.
You also a personal trainer,
I'm a
right?
personal trainer on Staten Island, and been working out a long time, a lot of years. You know.
What inspired you to come on our show?
I was watching a show, and I always wanted to do yoga. For years. I mean, personal training and yoga go hand in hand, really. But
Right, they
I
do.
never, took the initiative to do it.
Right.
And finally, when I saw your show, I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and I emailed you whatever, and
Wow.
yeah. I mean, I'm a novice, but I'm willing to,
That's okay. I'm sure you stretch after you.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I
Gym
do my own
practice, right?
stretches, yeah.
All
When I
we
train
do-
people, I know how to stretch them out, but this is a little more intense.
You're doing it in a little more structured way, but all we are doing in yoga is giving those stretches a name. It's as simple as that. There could be 10 people out on the street, you don't know anyone's name. How are you going to call out to them unless you give them a name? And that's what we do in yoga. When we talk about Janu Sirsha, head to knee, you extend one leg out, you bend, fold the left leg in, try to touch your forehead to your knee. We just give it a name. Or you could be just reaching out for a jar of candy or whatever on your shelves. You're on one leg, you reach one arm out, and you're in Natarajasana. So we just give it a name. So welcome to the show,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
I hope
I also
you...
have a tattoo.
Yes, we'd like to see that. Chris,
kinda
if you
old.
can get a close-up
I'll just tell you
of...
about this tattoo. I got this tattoo before it was legal.
Before it was...
Before
I didn't
it was
know
legal.
it was illegal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tattoos were illegal when I
So
got
this tattoo, as you said earlier before we started, is older than some of the folks you know?
Yeah. Some of the folks on the head.
What is it?
I won't say, it's a panther. But yeah, on Staten
Oh.
Island, there was a guy called Coney Island Freddie who did it like in his basement.
Right.
And all my friends and brothers, they got it done, so I had to
So
get
it
it
was
done.
all hush-hush kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
and then like maybe 10 years later they started. Now it's like a big craze.
Right.
Well, I'm one of the original.
That's good, and you're stuck with that for life too, but you like it, so as long
It
as you like
faded. It faded a bit, but it's still
Well, it
still a
still looks
conversation
good.
piece.
It still looks good.
Thank you.
Jill Johnson, again, Jill, I'm going to give Jill a few more seconds before I go ahead introducing Jill, our special guest for today. I'd like to thank our amazing crew. We have great teamwork with Josiane Hurd as a director. And Josiane has some help from Leonard Harper in the control room, and she has Chris Williams on camera. Thank you so much for the great teamwork right here under Richard's guidance and Richard Swanson as our facilitator. This episode has been made possible today. Jill Johnson. Jill is CEO of WIBO. In case you're wondering what WIBO stands for, W-I-B-O, Workshop in Business Opportunities. I was very inspired. I took the WIBO classes. I have never seen such a structured form well, you don't have to go to business school. Basically, Weibo gives you all the tips, the techniques that you need to run a small to medium-sized business. Correct, Jill? I'm going to have Jill tell us a little more about Weibo itself, and I'll probably have a lot more questions for you, Jill.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Pleasure.
And I have no tattoos to talk about, so all I can do is talk about
Got a
Weibo.
cute smile.
Thank you. I'm going to keep him around. Weibo is an organization that is 45 years old. It was founded in 1966.
Right.
And the purpose is really to inspire and motivate and to educate people, especially from underserved communities, how to start, run, and operate a profitable business.
Right.
So, as you said, it is almost a micro or mini MBA sort of an education.
Instead of an MBA, get a Weibo.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is that we've had people who have MBAs to say that they have taken Weibo and they learned so many things that they didn't learn in MBA. We have one very long-time volunteer who says that after his MBA he was trained to, you know, run General Motors, but not to operate his own small business. And there's so many things that you learn through the Weibo curriculum that you know, just not taught in business school.
That's the impression I got, that Weibo is able to fill in the little gaps in our education. So if you have an MBA from one of the bigger universities or from any university or college, they give you the big picture, whereas Weibo helps you fill in the gaps. And which is important, because unless we know all the bits and pieces, you cannot hold a business together. So tell us a little bit, how many intakes do you have in a year?
We do 2 sessions a year. We have multiple locations around the city, in Manhattan, in central Brooklyn, and South Bronx, all over the city. And you can go to our website to see the specific locations.
That's Weibo.
Weibo.org, WIBO.org.
I heard
Yes.
it.
You've heard of it? You're enlisted.
It's really, I mean, it's a great organization, again, in that the training does not presuppose any knowledge about business or about running a business. So you can go to a class if you have, you know, you have a high school education, if you have a college education, or if you've completed an MBA.
So you don't have to have an undergrad degree or anything.
No. And really, again, the great thing about Weibo is that it gives you the tools to start and operate a business today. It does not assume that you need to go out and raise hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to get your business going. It's really about the practical side of starting a business and what it is you need to know right now to get your business going today.
That was going to be one of my other questions. Does Weibo only teach you how to make money, or can you run a nonprofit using your skills that you share?
Well, you know what's interesting is that in many of the underserved communities, you have so many people that feel it's important to give back, which it is, and to do different ventures that support the community. The nonprofit world, as you know, has changed significantly over the last several years, where a lot of the funding is drying up. And so one of the things that we do is encourage even nonprofits to think like a business. What is your business model? How is it that you're going to differentiate yourself from other nonprofits? And so even though the motive might not be to generate an economic bottom line, there is a social bottom line. And so as a nonprofit entrepreneur, you really have to think about how you are going to make that nonprofit, that social bottom line, come to fruition.
So there's accountability, because when it's nonprofit, you're getting sponsored by someone, you're getting funding from someone.
Well, like I said, people now, nonprofit entrepreneurs, have to be much more creative about how they are finding funding. It's just not as easy.
Right.
So there still has to be a business model there. So we still encourage nonprofit entrepreneurs also to take the course and to, you know, learn what it is they need to do to be successful in their endeavor.
I remember when I completed my Weibo class, they had some kind of a contest where people were given some kind of an outline where they could submit business plans. I think that's a great exercise. How does that work? How do people get involved? Do they have to finish the Weibo classes?
Well, we do certainly encourage people to finish the Weibo class. Now, one of the things, and I'm actually new to Weibo.
Okay.
I've been with Weibo since September. one of the things that we are looking to do in 2012 is actually to add a business plan competition for WeBo graduates to provide that additional motivation and incentive for WeBo graduates to take the work that they've done through the 16-week workshop program and turn that into a full business plan.
Wonderful. Gentlemen,
I'm
any
in.
questions? He's in. You have a new recruit. Your
How
next
can I get
intake
in?
is January. Next intake is end of January. We air in the first week of January.
Right, we have sessions, like I said, that start in end of January, February, essentially,
Right.
and then again in September.
How long is the course?
It's 16 weeks, and it's called the 16-week workshop. It's really around how to grow a profitable business, and it covers all the different aspects, everything from marketing. A big part of it is
I love
the
that section,
financial
yeah.
component, because a lot of entrepreneurs think about what it is they want to sell or what they want to produce. They don't take enough time to think about the economics around that.
Right.
And so, it's soup to nuts, everything that you need to know to start and grow the business.
Wonderful. WeBo has classes in different areas in New
Yes.
York, right? Well, where are the locations, some of the locations?
In Harlem, Washington Heights, Central Brooklyn,
I think you have about 9 or 10
let's
locations.
see where else.
On Staten Island?
Financial District,
You have
none
one
on
in
Staten Island
Not
just yet.
Figure that.
But we are looking to expand, and that really becomes an issue of where we can find not only participants, but also volunteers. WeBo
To go
is
there.
run by volunteers. We have such an amazing group
You
of
do. I can vouch for
volunteers,
that. They are
many who have been with the organization for 20 years, which is a long time.
You just started September?
I just started with the organization in September. I've been in this line of work for 20 years, starting my career actually in investment banking.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, you're an ex-investment banker.
That's how I started my career. That was not something about which I was passionate.
Right.
And steered my career in a direction. I worked with my parents' small business. They had a newspaper publishing company in New Jersey. And then I started an organization, and then that has translated into me being with WeBo. So it's exciting. It's a place where I feel that I can use my undergraduate degree in economics and my
Right.
the experiences that I've learned, but to really help people start businesses. And the organization is all about creating jobs, which is so important today. People aren't able to go and just go out and find a job
Right,
anymore.
right.
And many more people, many people are forced to now try to figure out how they can create a job for themselves.
Yeah, so you can bring the jobs to them. Basically, they create it for themselves.
You're
So they
creating a
actually-
job for yourself,
for
and
yourself.
hopefully, as they grow, then that translates into jobs for other
for
people
other
as
people
well.
as well. It's wonderful. It's wonderful how, especially because WeBo can impact, let's say, 10 people in a classroom, and they can actually help another 100, and then they go out and help others. So it really grows. And I think, how many students do you
Absolutely.
have now? How many?
Well, WeBo has trained over 15,000 businesses
So your alumni
since
is
it
like-
has started. And every cycle we have about 150 to 200 people that just go through the workshop program.
Right.
And then we help even more people through additional programs that we have, things like legal clinic, where you can essentially sit down and talk with an attorney for free.
Free, that's right.
So legal clinic, accounting clinic, and other workshops that we have. So, we're impacting a lot of
A lot of
businesses
people,
every year.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The other really exciting thing about WeBo, for me anyway, was you didn't really have to pay a fee. When you go take your MBA at universities, you have this huge fee
Sign
that
your
you...
life away.
It's
Yeah,
really
exactly.
expensive, and you better
All
make
you
some
do is
money to
just
pay that.
Yeah, all you
that
do is
back.
just pay the cost of the books, right? Just printing the books, the material, cost of material.
Yeah, there is a fee for the workbook, which is a
Right.
very thick notebook
Very
where
normal.
all the materials are kept, and there are worksheets and things like that, and we send a lot of those things online as well. But again, we're able to keep the cost down thanks to contributions by our generous funders, and again, the volunteers. I cannot say enough about them. We could not run this program if it were not for the hundreds of volunteers that
One
we
of
have.
your WeBo volunteers is also a producer here at M&N.
Oh, wow.
I don't have his permission to mention his name, but it's good because I
You'll
see
have to
him
make the
here.
introduction at some
Absolutely.
point. Yeah, absolutely.
I will. It's wonderful. It's wonderful what a great job WeBo is doing. And I would like our participants to actually realize that everything is not lost. The markets may be down, things may look bad out there, but you know what? You can create your own dream. You can actually live your dream take these classes with Weibo. Your next intake is in about 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
So twice a year. Is it end of January and late September?
Yes.
If I remember right?
Yes.
And contact
And
Jill
people can
Johnson.
go to our website, again,
Yes.
as we said, weibo.org.
WIBO.org.
And I would encourage people to sign up for our newsletter because we every week have information that goes out about the different events that we have.
Right.
We are looking to add more things for our alumni as well, to make sure that our alumni have resources at their disposal and opportunities to network not only with each other but additional resources.
Remember, when you are done with the Weibo classes, don't forget, give back in any way you can, because Weibo is doing this amazing job, but like Jill mentioned right now, without people giving something in return, Weibo cannot go on. So you need folks to give back. Take what you can from Weibo, make the most of what you have, come to terms with what you don't, but when it comes to Weibo, give back as much as you can. Contact Jill Johnson, www.weibo.org. You could write, can they write to you directly?
That's fine. Going through our website so they can see exactly where to go
Where
is
to go.
the best
And,
idea.
Yeah, make sure you join the intake, the next intake of maybe 150 people in about 8 to 10 locations. And you have wonderfully small classes too. You have about 8 people.
The classes,
some of the-
the classes
some of
have
the
grown a
locations.
little bit now, but what we try to do is to break the groups so that when they're doing the group discussions,
Okay.
they are small
That's
and
right. The
very
Brooklyn
personal.
one was huge. I think
Right.
you had about 30 or 40.
So the classes might be larger,
Right.
but then we break people down into smaller sessions to do the weekly discussions.
That's a lot of work. We'd like to have you back tomorrow as well, Jill, if you're so inclined. We'd love to. We have a lot of questions, which, once this episode is over today, I'm sure everything is going to come flooding back. We'd like to have you on tomorrow as well. We really appreciate your time today.
Okay.
And Jill, if you're ready, I think the gentlemen are all ready. We're all going to stand up. We're going to stretch. This is for our camera person to know as well. Chris, if you can get the gentleman in, I think you can get me. So we should be all safe. Now, we want to just shake out our legs a little bit, get the blood flowing. We'll start with the sun salutation. I'm going to come forward, seeing that I'm the shortest. I'm going to have Jeff and Jill go back, and Rafael and you want to stay? No, come forward. So we stagger ourselves, and then we'll move back and forth. Then I'll go back. Heels together, toes slightly apart, and actually maybe you want to come somewhere around halfway, Jeff. Perfect. Palms in front of your chest. Elbows are raised. Close your eyes for just a moment. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Try to make a mental note. Is your body swaying to the right or to the left? You might notice sometimes you tend to put more weight on one leg. And a good indication of that is to watch your footwear. If you have a deeper impression on one footwear, you know that you're putting more weight on one leg. And that reflects an imbalance in the body, and it's perfectly all right. Now, inhale, take your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold from the hip with a nice straight back. If your fingers do not touch your toes today, that's okay. You want to make the connection. So place your hands at your ankles, your shin, try to avoid your knees. If you're at your toes, that's great. Now, very gently, place your palms all the way down. Bend your knees if you need to. Take your left leg back and then the right. Exhale and press your heels down. If your heels don't go down all the way today, that's okay again. You just want to try, so you can place a brick or a block, something that'll help you make the connection. Keep breathing, keep exhaling. Inhale, bring the left foot between the hands. Place your right knee on the floor. Uncurl your toes in the right foot, and let's ease off just a little bit. Place both hands on your left knee. Bring your elbows out to the side. You might notice, we have about 5 minutes, you might notice that when your elbows are out to the side, your body stays alert. You want to relax, bring your shoulders down, close your eyes, open up your chest, lift your chin up, and hold. You should feel a delicious stretch in the front of your quads, on the front of your upper right thigh. Now, left knee is up, inhale the right arm up. Exhale, dip your right elbow over the left knee. Place your left palm on top of the right. look up at the raised elbow. So raise your left elbow, look up at the raised elbow, and hold. Remember, when we say hold, it's always hold your posture, not your breath. Inhale, let's come out of that. And let's switch legs as gracefully as we can. We're going to do 3 rounds. So we're going to combine both sides. Bring the right foot forward. Uncurl your toes in the left foot. The top of your left foot stays nice and flat. Now exhale, dip your hip. Right knee is up. Inhale, the left arm up. I know, Jeff, at the gym, you would probably train people not to take your knee too far over the right foot, right? In yoga, we take a few liberties. Exhale, dip your left elbow over your right knee. Place your right palm on top of the left. Raise your right elbow, look up at the raised elbow, and hold. This time you should feel a wonderful stretch in your quad muscles, the front of your upper left thigh. Inhale, let's come out of that. Place both palms beside your right foot. Curl your toes in the left foot. Lift your left knee off of the floor. Take the right to meet the left in plank position. How's that for military push-up? I know guys seem to like this a lot more. Now remember, you don't want to dip your hip too deep in this. You could hurt your back. You don't want to go all the way up because then the name of the posture changes. So hold it. Very gently lower knees, chest and chin to the floor. Exhale and dip. Inhale, glide out into cobra or bhujanga. When you're in this posture, you want to make sure you engage your low back muscles. So first you want to press with the tops of your feet, press with your palms, inhale and lift yourself up as high as you can. When you're up there, do what Ron's doing. Great. Take your palms off of the floor. You want to make sure you're using your low back. Place your palms back on the floor, forehead to the ground. Curl your toes in. Inhale, lift your buttocks all the way up. Into mountain posture. Inhale, bring the right foot between the hands this time, and then the left. Place both your palms together. Inhale, come up with a nice straight back. Exhale and release. We just did one dual round of sun salutation. We're going to sit on the mat. Ron, how does that feel? We're going to get some feedback. Feels good? Yeah. We just did one round. In fact, we were running short on time, so we didn't do both sides, but we combined the two. We didn't do it as 2 rounds.
Right.
You feel good, Ron?
Yeah.
How about you?
Very good, very good.
Getting my yoga legs back.
He's getting his yoga legs back. Rafael, feels good, right? Are you sweating yet? Yeah,
No,
I
my hair
can
is
see
tied up
no
this week. I'm
sweating.
not sweating.
Especially for
good,
folks who
though,
work
to
out at the gym, right? If you work out at the gym, you don't realize that you can actually have an internal sweat, stretching, right? Jeff?
I always
can
had
feel-
that though.
You always feel that. Jill, how's this for a second experience with yoga?
Good, good.
Feels good?
Yeah.
Jill, we'd love to have you back. Before we close for today, we'd like to thank our wonderful crew. Josiane Hurd, our director, under Rich's guidance, and Richard Swanson, our facilitator. We have Leonard Harper in the control room helping Josiane. Chris Williams on camera, thank you so much for making this episode happen. On behalf of Rafael Sanz, Jill Johnson, Ron Thomas, and Jeff D'Amico, this is Banu Suresh signing off, and you are watching Yoga Express. While we're getting timed out, we're just going to have a little chat with Jill. We're going to stretch as we go. But feel free to stretch with us. If you don't know the names of these stretches, that's okay. You can email me, banu.suresh@gmail.com. Remember, our program is open to everybody. So if you want to stretch with us, just get in touch with us. Go to mnn.org. Or you could email me, yogaexpress.com, through the website, yogaexpress.com. Jill, tell me something. Will you be able to come tomorrow and help us address a few of the questions?
What time?
About the same time, if it works for you.
I'm going to be in the city earlier.
Okay, we're looking forward to it because I'm
have
sure Rafael, Ron, and Jeff also have some questions for you.